Greetings everyone, my name is Raziel and today I once again get to reveal some cards for the Crusade expansion. This time we are looking at cards for an entirely new faction headed into the game, the Dark Mechanicum. As you can tell by the thumbnail, I even get to show you the new Anacharis Scoria, legendary warlord of the Dark Mechanicum. Of course, you will need to wait a little until you get to see him, but fear not, the other cards are also very much worth taking a look at. But let us not waste any more time and take a look at the first card. First up, we got the Animus Inimica, a 2-energy tactic with the effect to discard a random card and give +2 attack and +1 HP to all friendly vehicles in play. This of course is a pretty strong effect since it affects every vehicle you have in play, but it comes with the downside of discarding a card. Well, except that isn't really a downside because a lot of Dark Mechanicum cards have synergy with discarding, either when they are discarded themselves or via their new trait Necrotech, which was already revealed in previous reveals. Overall, I expect this card to be pretty solid if we get a lot of cheap vehicles and the Dark Mechanicum are able to swarm the board with them. In this case, the Animus Inimica would be a very solid way to push for lots of damage. In short, a very solid start to our reveals. Second, we have the... oh boy. Cyclothrathine Thallax. This is a 4-energy infantry with 3 attack and 5 HP, and the effect to put in play a copy of this unit when it is discarded. This means that discarding a Cyclothrathine Thallax is essentially playing a Cyclothrathine Thallax. Obviously, this has the potential to be insanely good if you can, for example, discard this card on your first turn, resulting in a 3 attack 5 HP body on your board turn 1. However, since discarding seems to be inherently random, I don't expect this card to be a consistent issue in this regard. But it's definitely looking like a staple, which will probably cause some frustration every other game. Next we have the Chrom Vultarax, a 5-energy vehicle with 6 attack and HP, which on rally discards a random card to gain flank. Being a 6 attack 6 HP body for 5 energy is already very solid, and being able to gain flank on top of that means this card may be very obnoxious to play around. Again, the quote-unquote downside of discarding may balance it out, but I imagine there will be plenty of willing cards begging to be discarded. So this downside could very well turn into an upside, resulting in an overstated flanker that yields additional value on rally. Definitely another very strong card. Second from last we have the Malignant Covenant, a 6-energy tactic with the effect to add back to your hand 3 random cards that were discarded this game and reduce their cost by 2 each, effectively refunding its cost. In theory, this is a nice way to get back some cards you discarded, but realistically, if they were discarded, you may want to discard them again, so the cost reduction is a little pointless. On top of that, since discarding is random, you may end up discarding this card, which is far from ideal. Overall, I think that this card has potential, but probably will end up not being used a whole lot due to the inherent amount of RNG involved in the entire process. Finally, we have arrived at Anacharis Scoria. He is a legendary warlord with medium initiative, 2 attack and 35 HP. Scoria also only has an active ability and no other passive, purple card or reckoning of any kind. For 2 energy, Scoria gets to choose, either to draw a card, or to discard a card and draw 2 cards. This is precisely the type of ability this faction needed, either able to safely draw more cards, or access discarding consistently while filling your hand with even more cards. Basically, Scoria players are very likely never going to run out of cards for their discard shenanigans. This also enables a different kind of deck, the one that wants to dig through their entire deck as fast as possible in search of specific combo pieces or high power cards. For those decks, Scoria is looking like an amazing warlord as well, especially since he has no Reckoning taking up a slot in his starting hand. In short, Scoria is looking like a very good warlord with an ability that seems perfect for what the faction wants to be doing in almost every way. And that concludes my reveals for the Dark Mechanicum. What are your thoughts? Let me know in the comments. I personally think it is very cool to see every guild experiment with different mechanics in this game and not just introduce rally ability number 9 into the game. While I do think that balancing may end up being an issue, there is still the possibility of balance because of inconsistency. I guess only time will tell. And that was it from me for today. As always, like and subscribe to not miss any future reveals, deck videos and educational content. I hopefully will see you again soon, even if it's just in 2 weeks for the Night House reveals. Until then.